That's different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, there's accidents and there's Darwin's law, or what do we call it?
Yeah.
Darwin's theory.
Darwin's theory.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
just
evolution.
in that going from deer tags to the IHSA.
Tonight is going to be an interesting night, but first we're going to talk about a little bit about what we're going to do coming up this week. So we did the ranking show last week where we did the top 5 all class rankings with, top 5, top 3 guys, and we're going to expand on that list. But their next ranking show, we're going to focus on freshmen. Right. So incoming freshmen, we're going to make a list of pound for pound list of who's coming into the state this year at the freshman level, where they're going to be, what weight, and what we think they're going to do this year. So you guys have any thoughts on the freshmen out there? I mean, any stuff?
I know several of the IK kids. There's a lot of kids that gray shirted though too. I think if we can get people to, give us an idea of who their kids are, what weights they think they might be at, give us a range. Not that that's relevant to a pound for pound ranking, but if they, message me on Facebook, or even I'd say throw something in the comments. I know I monitor the comments on the podcast a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, maybe even. I mean, I don't. It sounds arrogant saying it, but like maybe like even a little resume. And I don't mean it arrogant at all. Just like not because you just
Accomplishments.
Yeah, a little a little bit of some of the accolades. Hey, I think this incoming freshman's going to make some noise because, you know, and it's not that you have to justify your opinion. That's not. I don't mean it to sound like that at all. It just
Yeah,
it helps.
information is helpful. I mean, Mark, how
Yeah.
many what do you think a list like that even looks like? How many people would we get to? 20? Or there's less than 20, right?
Of the top incoming freshmen
Yeah.
per weight.
Let's say are there 20?
Not by weight. Not by weight. Just
pound for pound. Are there 20 incoming freshmen who are going to place at state?
Ooh, there's
Yes.
fine. Yes.
Man, I don't know.
I'm not
so.
20 that will. There's 20 who got a legitimate chance to.
Yeah.
And how many of those 20 are going to win state? That's another question. So.
3.
3 tops. Can we make a prediction on who right now? Could we give one?
I mean, you could definitely do whatever you want, but this is gonna be the next ranking show. We just want to make sure that when we do the ranking show, we got a lot more information and we really do our due diligence leading into it. But I just wanted to preview it tonight.
Hey, real quick, I just want to ask this question. Colton Schultz from JCA. How big is he? He's a 6-pounder. 13. Is he going to be like every bit of a 106 pounder?
Colton is probably, it's been a while since I've talked to his mom or dad, but he's probably a 6-pounder.
Okay.
I could text his mom real quick and find out too.
Well, let Mark text his mom.
That's right. Wrestler moms.
But I don't like married women.
Okay. So were you going to make a prediction, Mark, or is that you're just curious about that?
Well, I think when you look at the freshmen, to me, the thing that always stands out, like if you're looking at sheer numbers and you're saying could 20 do it, the vast majority of them will be between 6, 13, and 20.
Yeah.
And so I start looking at like a list of people I have, and I go, okay, what class is he a 6-pounder? That increases his odds. It really does. And so I look at the classes before I'd be willing to make a prediction. I got to look at what class he'll be in because that is important. And then is he truly going to be a 6, 13-pounder? And then maybe 20. You will have a couple randoms. Hey, you do get those Justice Heags out there who come in and just dominate at a middleweight.
Yeah, which was very impressive.
Yeah, where Jimmy did the same thing.
And again,
Noble, did he win it freshman year?
Second, right?
Second. Aaron third freshman. Aaron Stewart got third freshman year. Noble got second. Did Rocco Cassiope win it as a freshman? Nope.
I think he lost to Noble, right?
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm just saying in general, man, it's a really tough thing to accomplish. But if it's gonna happen, it's rare that it's at 157 Class A Jimmy Messing, right?
Yeah.
50 Class 2A Providence
Justice League.
Catholic Justice League. Those are not very common. So you're going to have to get the vast majority of them. If they have a chance, will be between 6'13" and 20.
Okay.
Well, I think we're going to talk about a middleweight. I don't know what's middleweight. Is 150 middleweight or not?
Yeah.
It's as
If we're going to talk like draw out a name here, Brendan Narden, middleweight.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be on the list for sure.
You
He
know?
is. He's on. I mean, he's one of the top on the list for sure, off the top of our head, right? Like we know that. I mean, one, he's a state champ in IK. He's been training. I mean, what more else? Like that's he's ready to go. I mean, we're gonna go back and look at all the IK state champs that are gonna wrestle this season. I mean, we have a list of the state champions from last year, so we're gonna get an opportunity to kind of see that. We're not gonna know which ones are actually gonna be in high school this year and which ones are gonna be in taking a what'd you call it, a gray shirt?
Gray shirt.
I
Yep.
thought it was called reclassification.
That's the proper terminology.
Okay.
You ever remember you stay home from school one day and you didn't utilize your time? You watched The Price is Right. You didn't get shit done.
For sure.
You know
For sure.
That's a
Pup didn't put. Brendan Narden did not.
He did not
waste
do that.
any of his time while he was off injured at all.
What a great analogy, Jim. That was an amazing one.
But I heard a rumor that a kid who's gray shirting, who's really fucking good, might gray shirt again.
Who's that? What?
I cannot. I'll say it when we go off air. But I heard one of the better kids out there who's gray shirting reclassify.
Is he going 2A?
Might reclassify again.
Oh, again.
Yep, because he's really young for his age and small.
Is he a kid that's going 2A, Stewie? I think I might know who you're talking about.
I can't talk about it on the pod. I just put it up.
All right.
Yeah, it's out there.
We'll talk later.
We'll figure it out. Well, yeah, so I'm excited about that. We're going to get some information. We're going to have to dive through last year's results.
Our freshman ranking is a true ranking. We're going to rank who we think is the best freshman, and then in order, or just our top 20.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open. I think we could, if we can make top 20, I mean, perfect. If we have 20 freshmen coming in that are worthy of saying, hey, this kid he placed last year at the IK state tournament or the IESA state tournament, or he was in between and he was just doing Tulsa and stuff, like for sure. If we can get to 20, let's list them.
My list
can rattle off 10.
Wow.
Hey, Buddy Saber's going to jump on Dalton.
Yep. I'm always looking. So yeah, next week that'll be. I don't know if we'll get to it this Friday or Saturday or Sunday. But that's going to be the next show.
Well, yeah. Well, let me just like send that request. Like, do everybody here a favor. Give us some dope on incoming freshmen. You know what I mean? Help us out.
Yep. And if you're listening and you want to make sure that you're gonna see that when we post it, just make sure you subscribe. That's another thing. We have listeners. We have more listeners than we have subscribers on the YouTube. So people are listening, but they're not subscribed. But that'll make it easier for them to see it. But we lost Eler.
Remember, he was just telling us how high tech his shit was too.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can continue and when these guys pop in. But so Mark, you got the text message about these Yak Sessions, right?
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was working today and then tonight, so I didn't really read much.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand. I was about to text, like, Mark's busy putting windows in.
Yeah.
But regardless, what I thought was good off of our last podcast, we kind of got. You can't say in the weeds. We were talking about, different types of things when it comes to the organizational stuff of wrestling. And it was fun. It was a cool podcast, but I thought it would be good if we created an intentional opportunity to do that, so that um, the podcast itself is about that. So we don't get too lost in going back and forth in different topics, talking about rankings and results, and then jumping over and complaining about how this is run or that is run. I thought this idea would be fun. And then, Jim and I talked about it, and he said these were called Yak Sessions. And I looked it up, and it was just, the concept. Jim, you could elaborate on how you came about with it.
It was just like I don't know if it's just an old dog man term or what it was or what it is, but you get a couple of, you just start talking dogs, and it's just like, well, it's just a yak session where there's no real, you're not going to talk breeding, you're not going to talk breeds, you're not going to talk this, you're not going to talk bloodline. You just kind of general thing of like,
let
hey,
one thing lead into another.
yeah, just a general, like almost like a venting. How about that? It's almost like controlled venting,
Oh,
but
I do
not,
like that.
yeah, but not like, not Pam Tillis, poor, pitiful me. It's just like a venting section,
Yeah. No, absolutely. And then in addition to that, one of the things that I was mentioning earlier off air, but I want us to come up with some type of guidance of like principles that we stay focused on an idea, as opposed to thinking of like the personal people that we know. So we could give examples of who does something, or we could just think conceptually, like what is happening.
Yeah. Well, I think too. Here's what I know I'm guilty of this, and I'll just like, I don't know, try not to do it so much. But like when I like everybody knows I don't like the IHSA. Okay, no big secret. But that doesn't mean that everybody in IHSA is bad. You know what I mean? So I can't like
Generalize them.
No, I can't make everybody a sacrificial lamb. There's a couple of known dickheads, and then maybe there isn't. You know what I mean? Maybe there's a great
Yeah.
someone in there. So that's like, I guess that's I got to watch doing that, or maybe.
Well, I think it's easy. I mean, when you're in it, I think there's real life situations that maybe that come, like, you're gonna feel particular ways about real people and their approaches to things. But I guess in
Yeah.
this situation, when we talk about what we don't appreciate, or what we think could be better, or whatever, it's not necessarily about the people involved that are doing it. It's more of like the system that's in place already. I mean, these things existed from decades ago. How long has organized sport been going on? And obviously, Mark and I can attest, like, the sport is entirely different, like an organizational standpoint. I mean, there's some similarities, but it's different than when we were coming up as youth.
Vastly different. I actually thought about this. This is something I just want to bring up real quick. I was thinking about this after we had the podcast about this, like but Jim made a comment, like there's people that hate private schools. That's just, and that's right. And I remember in high school, going into high school, my 8th grade year, there was a large group of us from this area up in here, and some of them are really good dudes, had really good high school wrestling careers. And we thought we should go to Carmel Catholic because we wanted to beat like we grew up with these little Celtics that were really good, and we knew they were all going to go wrestle at Providence Catholic under Keith Healy, and that they were the best. I don't ever remember hearing anybody talk negatively about Providence Catholics, how elite they were, how much better they were. We just were like, how do we beat them? How do we beat them? How do we beat them? Now the mindset's coming like, let's get rid of them. Get rid of the privates, put them in their own division. Or if you go there, those kids shouldn't be allowed, or we want to keep these kids from wrestling. Like, and another thing Jim said was like, so, and then that was across the board. Everybody I grew up with, and I spent a lot of time with a lot of really good wrestlers. Thank you to Team Illinois in allowing us to go to junior cadet duels and junior duels and wrestling freestyle developmentals every weekend, and freestyle Greco developmentals. I got to know kids from everywhere, right? And I'm friends with a lot of these guys to this day. We never felt this way. I just want people to understand that the guys in the 90s that dealt with the Providence Catholic dynasty never felt like it was wrong and it wasn't fair. It was like, let's go. We wanted to beat them. That's it.
Well,
that's
here.
difference in the rest.
Let me
and I don't
let
remember
me defend.
them except hammering Mount Carmel over the debacle that was Team State because their JV team smashed everybody at a varsity tournament, and they tried to say they violated the 4 tournament rule because that was their 5th. Outside of that, I don't remember all this recruiting accusations and suspending kids temporarily and then making them investigate. None of it.
Yeah.
But let me defend that behavior for a minute. Right? Like, let me go the polar opposite. Remember, like, cancel culture, like, that's new to us. That's a new thing. At least I think it's new. Cancel culture, it's a real thing. I know it's like a silly term, but
it's
like
brought on by social media.
Well, I thought it was brought on by COVID. Like, hey, we don't even have to go. We can work from home. Like, isn't that kind of how it started? Cancel culture. You don't like cancel.
I see cancel culture differently.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was like, all right, hey, listen, holy fuck, I'm irrelevant. Let's just cancel everything if they can cancel it.
I think.
And then it just.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's a lot of parts of cancel culture, but yeah, keep going. Sorry.
I looked at it.
I thought that's what it was. Like, you realize, oh shit, I can, like, half the people that could work from home, or half the people that went somewhere realized they could work from home. Maybe it was like, well, hell, they can cancel me. Let's cancel them.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think, cancel culture is just, I mean, in this situation, when it comes to the change of culture around private schools, it's just, it seems like people got, again, I think that's a general culture where we feel like victims of our circumstance. Like, we can't win because the everything's stacked against me. So,
well, I just kind of got in here, but I know, like, some of our surrounding states are all open enrollment. If you guys would talk about this at all or whatever, but like Wisconsin and Iowa, they can go wherever they want to school. You know, the private schools dominate as much up there as the surrounding states, like Iowa and Wisconsin.
No,
not as much, because you can go wherever you want. And that's
Southeast Polk is the #1 school, and there's a public school.
Yeah, I mean, that's just
for wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, people just want to go where they're going to have wrestlers to work with. You know, better teammates, better workout coaches. You know, and like, just look at what Jordan's doing. Like, Jordan's giving kids the most exposure. I mean, that's what you need, right? You want exposure to get to the next level or do anything you want to do. I mean, so that's what you got to go where you're going to be able to best.
Yeah, you go where you feel like you're going to be your best version of yourself. And I mean, I would assume that that's right. Like, public schools are probably a higher competitive rate when it comes to if you have an open enrollment. But yeah, well, interesting. We kind of got into the rules topic without wanting to get into the rules topic.
Yeah, you'll have that with Mark Stewart.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to put it, though, buddy. Like, find your best environment, right? I guess, regardless of, I don't know. I used to, like, don't be a victim of your own zip code, and I say that, and I don't mean it like, I don't even know what I mean by that, but like, don't be a victim of your own zip code. You know, like, look at Eiler. The kid's a stud. He's wrestling and he's traveling 15 minutes to wrestle where nobody gives a shit about wrestling. He's just gonna, he's gonna make it work. Does he have other options? Like, yeah, of course he does. But he's just, like, is the squeeze worth the juice, right? Is that the saying? So, I mean, anybody, you could make it work, but I don't know, man. Like,
you're pointing out, like, almost like two different things. Like, you look at kind of like basically like a small town kid, like, you represent your town, you're doing something like that. You're to long live, like, your aspect for your town or your community, or you're looking to do the best for you. Like, when you have better options, like, there's nothing out here for us go anywhere else or do anything. Hell, we're 50-minute hour away from anything. But if you get into bigger places, we have more opportunities. You don't really care about your, environment or community as much as where you want to go. And it's not we're going to go get the best high school diploma. It's we're going to go to get your best chance to get to the next level you want to get to.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, for sure.
Well,
yeah, that's a super good time. I mean, hell, we go on that all night about like the exposure, like national exposure, I guess. Like, and then that turns into schedule. Like, hey,
Yeah.
what's your schedule look like? Who do you wrestle? Who do you see? So that's a whole nother topic, right?
Yeah. Well, maybe, I mean, seeing how we're still early on, and I think we've done a good job. I know, buddy, you just came in, but we were talking about what these Yak Session podcasts are going to be, and they're just going to be free flowing. Like, we get to kind of just discuss topics that maybe we don't talk about, or maybe we shouldn't talk about if we're doing a ranking show or a results show, because when we're doing results and rankings, we're talking about the athletes and how the tournament went. But these are just general conversations that we always have already off the air, and maybe they can be productive if we put them out to the masses. So hopefully we can do that.
Free floating. How much
Yeah.
editing do you do?
No editing. I won't
No
do
all right.
anything. We'll just be we'll be bouncing around. But the luxury is that people will know that this is what they're getting. This is for the junkie, that, not, I guess, the junkie, but the person that cares about the sport itself, and how it actually is being done across all different levels of the sport, whether it's youth, high school, college, international, post college, just all that stuff. So
Yeah. And that's we can't just, I guess, all these all the wrestling all the governing bodies have rules, so we can't just, like, I mean, I don't know the Iowa rules, I don't know the Wisconsin rules, I don't know the Michigan rules, but rules are rules, right? They all have their own benefits and maybe downfalls, but
yeah.
man, there's a lot of rules, right? There's a lot.
Yeah. Well, maybe so then,
I
because
did
of
get up
that,
and grab my own beer, but it was frozen.
let's
No, leave it there. It'll thaw.
Penn stealing your stuff.
No, I didn't want to get up twice, so I texted her to bring me a beer because I didn't want to get up twice.
Well, let me
Not that I'm saving steps. I just didn't want to, like, be vacant on the show twice.
let me
The open enrollment or school choice stuff to see what states. And so there is quite a few. 34 states have some form of an open enrollment or scholarship, like kind of like a tax credit with different rules. Meaning, like, you could, a lot of offer, like, if you're at a failing school, you can go to a school outside of that district and you get a tax credit, right, towards paying whatever they're, however that. But in some capacity, 34 out of 50 states in the United States have some form of school choice. It's not as simple as just open enrollment. I can go wherever I want, or it's within 50 miles or within 30 miles. But there are 34 states that have some form of open enrollment. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, before we get too far into it, I'm going to show that video. I think it's a good video to present. We just listened to it, but Mark and Buddy, you weren't here, so I'll share it with you guys.
But give some context of who it is, though, so that everybody thinks it's
like
some.
twice a year, 3 times.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
So we obviously all know who Willie is. And this is from a podcast a while back. I think it was after the Bo Bassett stuff, or it had something to do with somebody else. But regardless, I think it's relevant. So,
But
Once in
this is
while,
this is a
like
guy that
twice a year, 3 times.
wait, you got something to say?
Yeah, just because, like, this guy puts out national rankings. He's a big deal in the wrestling community. Like, everybody, like, he
But the idea is the most important thing. Whether he said it or, I mean, we've all said this before, so it's not.
yeah, that's true.
It's not unique to him.
Once in a while, twice a year, 3 times a year. With all the state rules and all the dumb, you can't compete here and you can't travel there and you can't wrestle against prep schools, and with all the rules that go on and all the oversight or lack thereof oversight and suspensions, and like, at what point is it just better to, like, start a national circuit that doesn't have to deal with these idiots, that doesn't have to deal with Pennsylvania got one set of weights, Michigan got another, Idaho has another, Iowa can't travel to Oklahoma, the California can't wrestle against Blair Academy. I mean,
So, yeah, I mean, that's a great segue into this topic of rules and how they get in the way of individuals trying to pursue like the very best competitions and training environments that they can. So
Yeah, for sure.
let's go to
And
Mark.
then,
Let's start with Mark. Mark. What do you think about that?
Like I said yesterday, for I'm a huge fan of Willie Saylor for a lot of reasons. I respect his opinion because he is also like he's got to be one of the biggest wrestling junkies, and he's been around, and so he's seen things, and so he sees the pros and the cons of the different ways things are done. I think the idea of are you asking me how I feel about a national circuit, or are you asking me about just
Well, a little bit of both about the rules and how
there's too
that
much
impacts everything.
overreach from athletic association across the board. And I think it's that, in every state in some capacity. I also think that the national circuit thing, in theory, is awesome. In theory, I just don't know how it would ever work. There would need to be a lot of things done. There need to be some big time people getting involved to allow it to make it work. I think that, yeah, I don't know. I love the idea of it. There's so many things that would have to come into play, and if you were to do it that way, I'd imagine that there'd be a bunch of states that would hop in there and say, like, well, our kids aren't allowed to compete in that tournament, or they risk a 4-year ban, high school. So your kid who plays 2, right?
Well, yeah. So you're saying, yeah, the logistics of it don't sound clear as to how it would look like.
I just don't. At this time, this day and age, I don't see any way it could work.
Yeah.
Where it'd be big enough, right? Like we could the 6 best kids in the country, and they go, "Fuck this state, f this state, f this state." 7, 8, 9, 10 kids. What are they going to do? Wrestle each other 5 times a year, 6 times a year?
Well, let's jump into like what about? I mean, Eler and Jim, you guys were talking about a couple of podcasts ago, or maybe last podcast. You were talking about we were all talking about the COVID year and how that impacted development and how kids were getting good because they were competing a lot and there was kind of like a, yeah, it was because of that, right? So
I mean, I think
how many people were doing it then? All of them, right?
well,
all the ones. So that I'll go back to that text message, a screenshot that Jim sent earlier this week of the roster for a dual team that happened during COVID. And you look at every one of those kids that was on that roster, they're all part of the kids that Stewie has been talking about that are the elite of the elite right now. And why is that? It's because they found a way to compete at the highest level when no one else was doing it.
Often.
Every weekend.
But I think the thing about that time that made it so special that doesn't take you can't whole
duplicate.
idea you can't duplicate is that there's no state shut down where you're not given a choice. When you have an opportunity to just compete at I'm just saying a name. This isn't if I have the opportunity to compete at IC Prep under Danny or JCA under Cumbie or Marion Central under Blanton Prater, right? If I have that opportunity as a parent, right, to have my kid in that opportunity and they can still wrestle a national schedule, right? Why am I going to pull my kid out not knowing how many really great wrestlers we're going to see on this national circuit? Because I still have 4 or 5 matches, a state tournament, which in certain states is very prestigious and a big deal. My kid will still be seen by colleges. And then I still have my off season of freestyle and Greco where I could still wrestle if I want to be at wrestle Josh Elber, if I want to wrestle if I want to wrestle with Ben Askren or Bam, Team Nazir, and I'm in Wisconsin, Illinois. If I want to go to region over in Indiana or to Andrew Holland, Indiana, I could still train with those guys 8 months out of the year and on the weekends. You know what I'm saying?
I got it. Yeah.
So,
Well,
but how important is that state title in the state of Illinois with 3 classes?
That third type in class 3A?
just in general.
It's more important in class 3A. I'm not arguing that, but I'm saying in general, how important is that state title with 3 classes?
Well, I guess the person will make that up in their head.
It is
Well, that's what
important.
we.
It's not very important at all, but it is
No,
important.
it's not important in regards to maybe recruiting, but somebody might make
Yes.
it important.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
where I was. May not be very important in regards to recruiting, right? Because if you're truly recruiting the best, you're not really looking at a state tournament. You're looking at and
Off season.
Well, wait, here's
Spartacos.
Stewie. So what I was gonna say, and this is where I was gonna try to come up with a potential solution that seems to be happening. Stilly Boys Nationals is coming up right now. It's gonna go. It's just gonna be like Tulsa, probably, right? That's a huge brand, Oklahoma State, leveraging this national event, right? Now, I believe I should look this up, but Stilly Boy Nationals is going to be, I think, youth wrestling. But what if they open it to high school wrestling? Why wouldn't high school wrestlers go be connected to one of the biggest, you know, mouthpieces or, cameras that the sport has? I mean, what about that?
because until you have a certain amount of kids already doing it, it'd be a risky thing to do, knowing that it could cost you your ability to compete in your own state.
Yeah, but
So
how many
here's what-
events? How
let
many?
me-
Go, Jim, go ahead.
The other day, one of I don't know who it was. Somebody, well, it wasn't me, but like you guys said, somebody said it, and it made a lot of sense. Like, well, I'm going to interpret the bylaw this way, or I'll interpret the bylaw that way. I don't know who said that, but somebody said that.
It was
That's the
Mark.
way it was Mark.
Yep.
So the way the bylaws perhaps get interpreted. So like how this guy, let me go off topic and it'll come right back, Dalton. I'll come right back. We're all familiar with Cheryl Crow.
Yeah.
We're all
Lover.
familiar
If
with
it
the
makes you
songs.
happy.
Okay, remember, no, Strong Enough. Remember the song Strong Enough?
No, I'm
Maybe
just saying
not.
if it makes you
Nah.
happy.
Okay,
I mean,
Good.
I have a face I cannot show. I make the rules up as I go. Are you strong enough to be my man? That's Cheryl
Yeah.
Crow. Okay,
Yeah, I love that.
so that's it. I make up the rules as I go, and I think that's where we're all like on edge because, fuck, who's gonna get dinged? Who is it? You know what I mean? Like, what, and I think that's a big deal. Like making the rules up as we go, and that's what we all are afraid of.
Yeah, having
Yes.
some type of clarity, you're saying?
Yes, I mean, not even if it's not clear, make it like past practice. Like, okay, well, if this has been done before, then then we're grandfathered in by that being done before. You know,
hold on. I got something that really relates to what you're talking about. I had a conversation today with a good wrestling coach, really, really good wrestling coach. And we were talking about how we talked about the college open stuff. And he said, there's a person you're forgetting. But so when Cannon Webster did it, basically Craig said he should not have been able to do it, but I'm going to look past it this time because of when I'm with Val Hamilton. Now,
He already did it.
last year, I will not say who is, I don't want to get him in trouble. He won a state title. He has an opportunity to win a bunch more. He also competed in a college open last year, and the IHSA did not. But they said Cannon should have been suspended. Nick Miller fought with Craig, and he said, nope, you're wrong, but I'm going to let it slide this year. So what he's saying is he should have suspended him, but he didn't. Last year it happened. He didn't say a fucking thing. Nobody cared. But they're still saying that rule is they can't. And if they do,
Eeler,
did it right now, this weekend at Grandview, they'll suspend.
Yeah, Jim Eeler, we already broke the rule talking. So
what's the rule?
Well, so I want with these Yak sessions, what I thought that would be important is for us to have some type of principles or guidelines that we follow so that we don't get into too much gossip, right? Because it can sound gossipy if we bring up situations like that where I think it would be so much more helpful and productive is if we talked about the fact that what if you're trying to design a better system? These areas, let's talk about them as if they're like, again, not being interpreted by people, or they should be, or they shouldn't be interpreted by people. I guess I'm trying to just stay away with the ability to talk about how to improve the sport. Again, there's two types of ways of thinking about stuff, right? Like, so there's a cynical perspective, and then there's a optimistic perspective. So I think if you balance in the middle of it, right? So you said, I don't see the logistics. And what I try to do is like, well, what about Steely Boys Nationals? What if like a handful of colleges started doing these types of nationals, and producing a real national circuit for the very, very best athletes that are going to those colleges to get recruited anyways. They want to be recruited by Oklahoma State. They want to get recruited by Iowa State. They want to get recruited by the Iowa, the other schools. So what if they just start putting on their own big events where the best of the best can just say, oh, I'm just going to travel to those places, and you're going to get to compete against the best, from a year-round standpoint.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
I mean, I think you can do that, but it's got to be from, March to November.
Yeah, well, at this point,
And
what if
when
the
you're
Philly Boys Nationals was more important than your high school state title?
That's what we're trying to say.
I know. I think it is, right. It is, but
It
don't
could
you
be,
have
right?
to have that high school to get to the college level? To
Do
get
you?
into
Do
get
you?
into. I
Well,
don't know. You don't.
yeah,
But I
you
mean, but what do they?
Well, here's the thing. I also don't think that one will go away, right? Like, I don't think that high school, or like the organization of high school sports, goes away if the national schedule opens up. I think the national schedule takes, like Stewie said, maybe the top 10 percentile of athlete that is already doing this traveling stuff. But then during the season, they spend 4 months, being on a team, sometimes with teams that are good, sometimes teams that are bad, going to a few different tournaments, having a lot of duels or whatever. And instead they could just be, this 10 percentile might dip off and do a national circuit, instead. And obviously there'll still be kids in the schools that are going to school that participate in sports. I mean, I think there's other club type sports that exist, baseball, and I know some of baseball. I think they try to do both though, but could happen. Right.
I'm with you. Well, I got a question for you then. Like all the rules that are in set that maybe aren't even 100% clear. I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but like, let's just say if you're a kid growing up and you're a wrestler, small scale is state title. Big dream is national title, like, right? College national title. And then bigger than that is Olympics, perhaps. I don't know. I don't know even know if Olympics are bigger than NCAA titles. I really don't. But let's just say that they are for my argument. Everybody agree with that? So then, does that make sense?
Yeah. Hierarchy of accomplishment.
Yeah. So if you're like, all right, well, if your goal, well, fuck it, forget all the titles too. Well, those are be included as well. But like, if you're just a kid and your exhibit A, meaning your goal, your end goal, whether it's a big NIL deal or a revenue share deal, whether it's a accomplishment, whether it's a destination, whether you want to whether you want to wrestle for, you want to live in California, you want to go to Stanford, um, you want to win an NCAA title, you want to win a high school state title, you want to win a NCAA title, you want to win a Olympic gold title, whatever it is, you want to get paid to do this, whatever your exhibit A is. Does that make sense? Exhibit A is your goal. It's different for everybody, right?
Yep. We're with you.
Do the rules slow you or even maybe prevent you from that goal? I would say yes. They're definitely a hindrance on that goal.
Currently, how they're written, absolutely.
Especially the highest one.
Well, of course. I just think and I think that's a problem. Yeah, I mean, I really do. I think that's the problem, because the big picture is high school is 4 years. Look back at, but those 4 years are really important for your goals. And I think I think all the rules, regardless of which state you're living, I think all the rules may be a hindrance on Exhibit A.
Yeah. I hear. Here's a
Meaning your
question.
goal.
Well, go ahead, Mark. If you look like you had
Yeah,
something.
listen to like a lot of elite athletes who've done podcasts or maybe talked about their journey and what it for them to get where they got. A lot of times when there's two parts to this. A lot of times when we talk about like what's a kid's, what's his goal. I was talking to a coach who's won multiple NCAA titles, and he told me flat out the problem with these kids and their dreams and their goals is if you tell them what it takes, they want nothing to do with it. They say they do, but when you really look at what it takes to be the best, to be one of, to even have the opportunity to be the best in the world, it is a sacrifice that so many really, 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 really fucking good not high scores, but really fucking good any athlete are not willing to take part in. They may say it, but when they get there, it's something they want nothing to do with. The second part is when we talk about the rules and whether they're a hindrance, there are hindrance at every level. Whether your goal is to be a state champ, whether your goal is to be an NCAA champ, world champ, Olympic champ, there are hindrance. And the reason I say that is when I listen to a lot of these guys talk, they talk about how people are like, "Oh, you're paying for training this way." It's so selfish, right? It consumes. It's all they do. Dude, you want to be the best? You got to be fucking selfish. You got to not care about all the other things going on in the world, in a sense, or you're not there to help your. And I know this sounds crazy because I was a coach at high school for a long time at two different high schools. You want to be the best? Wrestling's not a fucking team sport, dude. It's not. It's got a team,
Individual
an
sport.
individual sport with a team. You're there for yourself. You got to take care of yourself. You got to be selfish, extremely selfish to be great. And so, in order to do that, for a lot of these kids, training with your high school team, I see so many benefits, and I'm a big fan of it. But at the same time, you're nuts to think that there's a benefit for a lot of elite kids to be wrestling at high school practice. Sorry, and there's good kids that aren't even like.
Well, here's we can compare it. You know, we can compare it to other experiences. You know, a lot of kids that were in IK club, you know, that would do really well at IK. They would wrestle for the middle school, and again, you would just never go to the middle school practice. You would just show
Yep.
up for the competitions, and
And
this
the
is
coaches wanted them there because those were the kids that consistently win.
yeah, but they didn't care if they were at practice or not because they knew that it was
Exactly.
just too good for them. So that's another example of how this kind of looks from the outside, you know.
So
Yeah.
Jim, when did Jimmy make all of his gains in wrestling? Was it when he was club wrestling or when he was has been training in high school?
Well, he's a unique one I mean, his isn't really different.
I'm saying hypothetical. Okay, so let's take Jimmy out of it. Average kid
Well,
that
because
is
don't you
that
think?
is a state champ.
I guess what I would say is, no, I'm not actually telling you not to answer, but I guess when you think about Jimmy, he's never really he's been in a unique training system forever.
Since word go. Yep.
Well, yeah, but I didn't. Now here, I was like, I still know nothing, but I know nothing, admittedly. But when I got into this game, luckily Sean Babcock was like, "Hey, your kid's really tough. He's really gritty. He's into this shit." I'm like, "All right, cool," and I didn't care. Like you know what I mean? I was like, whatever. But I think I'm unique to the point where like I'll say this like I'll say it out loud like the internet. Like I literally just treated him no different than like a good dog. Like, oh, okay, you're a you like to hunt hard. You're a high horsepower dog. Okay, you know what I mean? And so that's like I didn't follow the rules not because I didn't follow like the wrestling dad rules, not because I didn't want to, because I didn't believe in them. You know what I mean? Because I just compared it to like to having a real good dog. That's all. You know what I mean? Like, hey man, like you can't this dog doesn't belong at fucking behavior classes at PetSmart. This dog belongs in the backwoods with 3 shock collars on him. One around the dick, one around his belly, one around his neck. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna so there was just a different level of training.
Bo Jack heard that. Continue.
Bo Jackson.
Not you, Bo Jackson.
You're not ready.
We'll clicker train you, Bo Jackson.
I mean, when I've just got to watch Jimmy from the outside, thoughts on it, because I wrestled with him twice. It didn't go well for me either time, and even gave me head starts. But what I will say about Jimmy is, like, I've seen Jimmy have massive gains. The going to Fargo before high school, and he still has them. I mean, I'm not gonna sit. Jimmy didn't place at Fargo. He did not have a great Fargo. And I watch people like, oh, and I'm like, okay. And then he goes in undefeated Elite 8 duels. Then he wins Super 30, or then he signs a sick ride to ice. All in 4 weeks, he goes undefeated Elite 8 duels. Signs with Iowa State, wins Super 32, right? He's keeps getting better. So
Well, yeah,
every level, because training experiences are year round, and they're elite year round.
Yeah, no, I mean here, I'll tell you what, like I won't take nothing from him from work. Like I can't take nothing from him from working hard. But like for lack of better terms, our journey's been blessed with the right people after the right, like we just keep on meeting the right people.
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
here's a good question. So, I mean, how many people do you think get left behind because of the path that they take, Mark? This is probably easier. Like, how many kids do you think don't get developed? They might have had the talent or like, obviously this is a hypothetical. We won't know this, but you were a high school coach. I was a high school coach, and we've seen, Buddy, you can definitely jump in. And I mean, everybody, go ahead. Sorry.
Tons of them. I mean, I've seen kids that I thought were so exceptionally good at certain stuff, and I thought to myself, God, if he made better choices in his personal life and had a really good support system like that, and I could name multiple kids. I wouldn't want to put their names on this podcast, but they could have been so good. They just didn't have the right people in their corners to guide them through the process, and so that they could understand it. I think there's so many more that could have been than are.
Sure. I guess I was trying to keep on the rule aspect of how this how they've gotten affected by it. But Buddy, sorry, go.
Well, no, yeah, same thing. Either just kids that are had taken the wrong choice and paths, that you're plenty talented, or just got in the wrong hands, or kids that grew up in not the big enough area to where they didn't get the exposure, they didn't get the time to go around, but they're plenty enough able to get you want to say it, athletic enough, or have the work ethic, just didn't get the exposure, or have, like you say,
well, think about
the blessings around it. Yeah, I mean it's a big part of it.
Yeah. And think about this. This is another interesting thing. Like, what do you think about, obviously the past, right? So you go past in history, all the smaller places had less access to these types of training environments, unique places, other types of people who are competing. But now it seems like mobility is getting easier, right? Like traveling, people travel all the time. Like traveling itself, like the technology of traveling is changing how people pursue their things, whatever it is that they want to do.
Yeah, it's nothing to travel an hour to an hour and a half one way for practice.
Yeah, especially if you got an airplane.
Right.
Or 3. Back in the day, I was driving.
I think there's more opportunities nowadays too. I mean, to get the training.
True.
There's more
both are happening.
More buildings, like your deal, Dalton. Or just there's more environment. It's around more. The sport's evolved enough to where you can travel more, but there's more opportunities to travel too as well.
Yeah.
How far does Landon Near travel when he comes to Relentless on Sundays?
2 hours.
Yeah, and then he had what's his name was coming there. Was it we had Ivy coming in?
2 hours.
I mean, there's been kids that came up from Southern Illinois to wrestle at the barn.
Oh yeah,
That's
but
hours.
I mean,
And they're like, hey, can we workout at least? We're going to drive 5 hours to wrestle today for a practice with so and so and so. You know what I mean? Like
For an hour and a half practice.
I know it's been going on forever. Like I know you guys were driving far to overtime back in the day before I even knew what wrestling was. But like my own experience was I would drive home from work from Freeport. I'd drive 45 minutes home. I'd get Jimmy. I'd drive 45 minutes, which is straight right where I came from to Dakota to wrestle. And I remember people like, dude, you're nuts. You're nuts. You're going to wear that kid out. And it's like, well, what am I going to do? Drive him 5 minutes for a touch putt session, or am I going to drive him an extra 40 minutes and
be productive?
Well, that too, like, I mean, it's like Buddy was saying though, it's so much easier to drive less time. You know, it used to be, you know, again, when it is fascinating to think about overtime. Overtime back in the day was like the first thing. There's obviously other places like we would go to middle school, like in the summertime and go train places. I would jump around different places, but there are more clubs. I mean, even thinking about out in Dakota, like a club like Josh's, normally you would have to go, you know, all the way to a different county, right? And so now it exists in a small town, which is like, you know, wow. Oh, so you're bringing all these resources to different parts that they never had before. So now you don't actually have to drive as far. So obviously 40 minutes is two both ways is long, but at one point it was 2 hours or, you know, that type of stuff.
At 99 when overtime came about, that was the only organized true wrestling off-season wrestling club 99 2000. We did have Eddie Giese like doing workouts at a couple different high schools. You could tell all the kids that trained with Giese. But that, like, most of it was like a group of kids would get together at Lake Zurich High School, or a group of kids would get together at your middle school. Now it's like elite coaches, like NCAA All-Americans, world medalists running.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
For night. And there's
college,
and if you go minutes class, there's another one. You know, crazy.
Like when I was in high school, man, like the same thing. We had nothing around us within like 3 hours, you know, and like a couple hours wasn't even like it wasn't feasible for our parents. Like we're gonna give up a whole, you know, a night. No, you can't do it at night. A weekend, maybe. Like we always did college
camps.
College camps. U of I, we always did that 6-day camp at U of I, and we did the NIU intense camp.
How far are you from? I'm sorry. Go ahead. How far are you from Iowa? An hour? You could be in Dubuque in an hour or not?
Yeah, Dubuque in an hour.
All right.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, we always did camps. Those even, I mean, a lot of those have even filtered out. I mean, as far as like public camps, you know, because everybody has club training now in the summertime.
Yeah, camps are definitely making a comeback. I mean, people drive to, you know, Perler camps and stuff. You know, again, going back to how many people drive commuting to clubs. Like, I think I watched a video where some people who were at M2 in Pennsylvania, they were talking, or Seabolt, you know, how many people travel. But I mean, I think, isn't this a natural, like, you know, obviously the Yak Sessions are going to be a little bit centered around maybe things that we wish that would change, but like this is a component of the natural evolution of the sport and its growth that has dramatically improved the sport without anybody telling it that it can and cannot exist.
So
right?
So the $1 million question is, Dalton, how much better can it get if some of these rules weren't in place?
That's a great question. And we got to define better, meaning how much better can our
can the kids get?
Yeah.
I got one. Here's an example. Buddy, how fun is the casino? How fun is the casino with no rules? Fucking way better. Yeah, I mean, way better.
Well, I definitely think that, you know, I watched a couple of videos of Jody Stripmatter and his Young Gun stuff. And what I was really thinking about too is, like, obviously, what does it mean to be better? On one hand, better is just accomplishments. How good can you get wrestlers, right? Can you get high school wrestlers to be at the best in the world, right? That's a better scenario. But what's also better is what Jody Stripmatter was saying is like their mission is to really get people to love the process. And like Jody Stripmatter, as somebody who is like really someone who loves the process, he's going to do a way better job of inspiring people to love the process. So like greater is also just pure love for the sport and like an appreciation to the thing itself, which you get when you're around other people that are excited about that thing. So
For sure. Let me just, I didn't want to, I know I interrupt because not intentionally, because I have time I can't hear. But when Mark was saying, like, hey, man, I knew a million kids that would have been great if, you know, same with Buddy, if there had other been kids that had been great if, and I think here's something that like your average athlete and your extreme athlete have in common. And I think that's a schedule and a routine. And I think that goes like, I think that gets overlooked.
Consistency.
Yeah, man, there's 24 hours in a day. Let's just say you spend 4 to 6 travel, everything, 4 to 6 of those hours are wrestling. Where's the 18 or 20 hours going from there? Like, I think a schedule and a routine is so overlooked that it's insane. Maybe those kids that like weren't on the best path or whatever, if they had a strict schedule or a strict routine, they'd be famous right now. Yeah, I mean, I think a schedule and a routine is huge, and I think that's super overlooked. You know what I mean? Over maybe where you're getting coached or who's coaching or everything like that. I think what you're doing for them 18 or 20 hours outside of wrestling are huge.
yeah, what do they say? This is what an old saying that my dad always would say: an idled hand's are the devil's workshop, or something like that.
Yep.
They say that in AA.
What's that?
The big phrase in AA.
Yeah. And actually what I find interesting is Cal Sanderson was talking about being busy and having things to do and work on. But in general, that's what, some people say the national schedule is like you're getting too crazy. Why are you doing a national schedule? But like a national schedule is almost like a built-in structure. It's a built-in schedule. Like, oh, you're going to go to this event every year. Oh, you're going to go do this every year. So it's like it is that routine that can build that type of consistency that then you'll improve at, and then you'll enjoy it more because you're doing it, at a higher level. Because again, success itself, it will like motivate you to stick to a better schedule each and every year, right? Like your schedule gets better as you get better, right? You start with a structure and a schedule, and then you get better, and you're like, oh, all right, I'm dialing this in. It's easy.
And by
For sure.
better, you have to dial it in more.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I do. I like it. Yeah, I mean,
I just think that's something that's like a factor in the average, the above average, and the elite.
yeah. Another aspect, again, I watched it twice today, but the internet and like, for instance, Jim, what did you say? And Eler, I don't know what you would say about your experience, but you said when you got into this, you didn't really know anything. Well, now things like a podcast that exists where somebody who has experienced a bunch of things can have the ability to teach people, like fast track. They can get them on a fast track.
Oh,
so
for
when
sure, the internet.
yeah. So when you and then you think about technique, I watched literally a clinic today from Cal Sanderson, and I'm like, well, shit! I just learned from Cal Sanderson. I couldn't have done that without the internet. So I love the fact that the internet is dramatically impacting how this sport is unfolding as like what it's happening. So
I think I learned on the fly, right? And I still don't know shit, but I learned a lot on the fly just because like this is a very similar game to the dog game. I promise, guys. Like whether you guys know it or not, it is. It's just everybody wants that super dog. Everybody wants that high horsepower dog. Everybody wants that, and once you get them, it's like, fuck. I got you know what I mean? Like
you got a lot of shit you got to do with that.
Oh yeah, I had some badass. I remember, like I can just same but different. Like co-owning dogs is normal. Like if you have a dog and like somebody else wants to buy half of it and hunt it, you do that. And then this guy tells you on the phone, like, I'm going to hunt this dog 7 nights a week. I'm going to hunt him by himself. I'm going to do this. I'm going to hunt him, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like, give me a break. Let me work on this puppy or something that I'm going to hunt, anything. And then this dog goes to this co-owner and that fucking dog sits in a kennel, and doesn't do shit because this guy didn't realize what he got. Like, oh man, this son bitch goes, and I think that's
it's overwhelming.
I went in. Oh yeah, I mean it's
because
so
once you get to a certain place, your level of output goes up
for sure. And I think I got into this game with that mindset of like, first liar wins. First liar wins.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Like the best,
It's like everything else I say I do in my life. I'll get it right next time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey guys, I think that was a great first introduction to the Yak Sessions. We're right at an hour. Should we start? What's your takeaway, Mark Stewart, about the Yak Sessions and
the truth or dare? This isn't your nearest. This isn't your nearest favorite part. The truth or dare.
Do you have any ideas or topics that you think that you're looking forward to bringing up? Sorry, I asked you too many questions. What's your takeaway from this one?
I kind of like the off-script venting part. I think that it's really good that we talk about the issues that we have within the sport on a personal level. I enjoy doing that and sharing kind of like experiences, not so much gossip, but experiences, things that we've seen, we know to be true, and to ponder whether doing it differently would be better. I like that idea, that concept. Yeah, I enjoy that concept, like that idea.
Great, buddy. What do you got?
Free floating, talking about wrestling, man. It's great. Bringing up conflicts or anything that's going to kind of evolve around wrestling. It's always nice. No, the what do you call it? The Yak session. That's going to be fun. I think I like it. Just kind of whatever rests in our mind or floating around whatever topic we can find and go with it.
Jim.
Let me rattle a handful off. The Yak session, like, yeah, hey, everybody on this screen knows what they're talking about except me. I mean, like they've all played the game, they've all been in it. I'm just here. I mean, I'm just the IT guy, But the top the top incoming freshmen, like, help us out, guys, with that. Like, don't be shy to send a text. Mark Stewart, he texted me. He wants to do a top single hot wrestling mom list. I don't think I'm going to be involved for that one. I'll let you guys do it on your own. And then that's about it, man.
Let me get my sheet out.
All right. So Eler, you got what's your takeaway?
I'm gonna expand on the. I'm going to expand a little bit on the incoming freshman list and asking for viewer feedback. I think that it'd be cool to see people comment on topics that they want us to talk about too.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you've stayed this long and listened to this whole episode, then yeah, you will do both of those things. Send any information you got on incoming freshmen, and then at the same time, send us topics or ideas that you would want to vent about, and maybe we have something to say about it. So thanks, guys.